Well, Eva, thank you so much for being a part of my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Yes, Eva is my name, but I am in the context of your event, and congratulations on undertaking such an important mission. I am actually Lady Racket, which sounds more fun, but it's also a very serious expression of something that your show is about, which is how to have us people think about space, especially in the context of going to the moon, beyond just science, beyond incredible things that NASA is doing and our space cowboys like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and a new British space cowboy, Richard Branson, who just flew in space. So I am a founder of Lady Racket Foundation, a very active, completely different way to embrace space under two themes. Let's be better on Earth before we go to Mars, which is relevant to shaping how we are looking at ourselves here on Earth before we go to Moon and Mars. And then space with human face, which means that I have philanthropic events and philanthropic initiatives that use space technology and space wealth to impact things that are unjust or unfair or terrible that are taking place on Earth. I am also a CEO and a founder of multi-million-dollar space startups, and I am a third-generation space investor, entrepreneur, and maverick. And welcome to Lady Racket and Copernic Space offices and events area that are only a mile away from the place where Apollo 11 engines were actually designed and manufactured, because everything I do has to be convincing to me that this is authentic relevance to space, instead of being, let's say, downtown Los Angeles or sitting somewhere in my home on the couch. I am always in the place that has roots and location relevant to space. So I could go on. I just want to show you my studio, TV studio, if I can get in quickly, because I also want to reciprocate and invite you and your guests to my TV program that is fairly unique. Let's see if we can. So this studio is also a place where we practice moon astronaut exercises, okay? But otherwise, we put our green room and put our cameras and use a little, check screen here and a big screen there to create a new type of space content. Okay, so anyway, I have a lot of activities around the Vandenberg Space Base, where I expended huge resources to create going to the moon and moon launch type of events, because this is where we launch rockets here in California, all including minority kids, especially Hispanic, because if you take a look at our space program, it will be very difficult to find Hispanic participants. The one that I know personally is Dr. Gonzalez here at NASA JPL, but he's one of the few. So I'm also trying to change those dynamics. So when we go to moon and beyond, it is all of us. So this is why, Lompoc, California, etc. But anyway, I am passing it back to you because I could go on for a while.
I know what you mean. The same thing happens to me whenever people start talking to me about space. Usually a few days of their lives pass before finally we move on to a different topic. But that comment about we need to improve the Earth before going to Mars. When I'm interviewing people at Starbucks, on the streets, at the malls, on the airplanes, and I talk to non-space people, that is a very common concern. They're like, it's just the rich people that want to escape Earth, and we've messed with the Earth so much we have to find some other place. And I often have to tell them the sad truth that regardless of how we mess up the Earth, the Earth is still going to be the best place for humanity in the entire solar system, because we've been to every planet, every moon, and you know, it'd be far easier. I mean, in all those places, we'll have to have artificial environments to live in. It'd be easier to create those artificial environments on Earth than it would be
Well,
to create them
send
someplace
them to,
else.
right, send them to Lady Rocket Foundation website, because I take it into something even more realistic, something that is happening here and now, and we don't have to wait. My definition of doing something on Earth before we land on Moon, on Mars, is doing it here now, using space resources, because what it is that we need to do now, arrest the issue of climate change and focus on the programs where the existing technology resources can make a difference. So I do not talk theory. Everything that I say have my commitment of action, doing, and funding as far as I can do, because my resources are not scale Jeff Bezos, but I can do much more with my money that he can do with his billions. And let me tell you how. I already launched a campaign that is really very, I would say, emotionally engaging, because it brings my satellites, so space, with new applications to help Earth, and specifically wildlife, meaning we are fundraising using NFTs, so innovation on innovation of innovation, space NFTs, to finance satellite companies to locate poached and wounded and dying wildlife in Africa. So without space technologies, without satellites that right now are doing their stuff that we don't even know what it is that they are doing, I am repurposing it to now save wildlife. Next are going to be indigenous people who are migrating because of climate change in Africa, in Amazonia, and they are not exactly Apple iPhones holders. We don't know where they go. We don't know what they do. They perish. So this is Lady Rocket's way of harnessing space to do something on Earth. And my satellite coming from Malibu, which is just down the street this way, are going to help us locate early fire sites, so we can potentially have a better chance on arresting the fire. So that's, and then Copernicus Space, which allows us to monetize space assets here on Earth and distribute wealth. So that's part of the deal. But I am happy to hear that people that you interview share this concern, because it should be taken very, very seriously.
Well, and even some have gone so far to say, we've messed up the Earth, we shouldn't mess up the moon too.
Yeah, and exactly. And there is a chance of happening it, because even a decision-making process and stewardship of Moon is not clearly defined. And you know what? The people that share it with you, again, send them to Lady Rocket Foundation website if they want to be included in taking action. Because what we are doing right now, we are collecting input like that to show to our government that United Nations, which now has an authority of declaring how to run Moon, does not represent us Americans fast enough, thoroughly enough, and most importantly, we do not have voice, because I don't know about you, I don't have a time to follow bureaucracy of United Nations, but I am space entrepreneur. So we need to create our own space Congress for us, especially Americans, who proved that as imperfect as we are the best yet so far in creating a democratic chances for the society. Imperfect, a lot of things need to be fixed, but as a nation, we are the most predisposed to be just and democratic.
Yeah, and that's another thing that comes up. I've talked to people in the UK and to people in the US, and a lot of them say, only rich people get to go to space. What does it have to do with the common person?
Well, take a look again on my website and Instagram. You are going to see invitation to Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos, where I sent exactly the same message. I would say with kindness, by saying, come and meet your future astronauts in inner city of Los Angeles, and then the city of Lompoc, which, although is next to this Vandenberg space base, is poor. Kids have no relationship to space, despite of the across the street, there are many space activities. So I think they have to be guided, challenged, or left alone, because you know what, we the people will be able to afford our own rockets, but that's another show.
So just out of curiosity, I mean, you're a big space advocate. You stay up on all the news, and I imagine you found out very soon since it was announced. But when did you find out that we were going to the moon in 2024?
It was a while back. Well, I follow NASA. I am also accredited news personality, and I have a news company. So we get invitation from NASA as a part of the media ahead of the game. But I can tell you that was probably sometime 2017, 2018. And I think it was 2018, I am pretty sure, because on 2018, I organized in Hollywood on the Walk of Fame, where we have something that a lot of people do not know about. We have Apollo 11 star among all the movie stars. There is a star dedicated to Apollo 11 astronauts, and next to it so happened is a W Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard, which is the music and entertainment hotel. So we had a moon entertainment event there with great inner city kids singing Fly Me to the Moon, and we were talking actually about going back. Now, what interests me about that is an angle of Artemis, which means paying attention to making women astronauts to be the first to walk on the moon. But beyond that, this is opportunity for NASA to take care of the legacy that is not, I would say, it's a story that a lot of people do not know. And it is not the best story of NASA, but NASA is taking care of it. And it has to do with the Jeff Bezos rocket launch. In 1961, NASA started and then canceled astronaut program that took women to be trained along Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and others, only to cancel the program, despite of the fact that women actually did better than men in all the training and physiological aspects. So going back to moon in 2024 has an aspect of recognizing that women were not included in the original moonshot and doing something about it now. I am also, as a space investor, I am following a challenge, financial challenge that NASA has. And again, ultimately NASA's budget comes from us, Americans. It just goes to, it's kidnapped for the period of time by Congress, who then makes his decision, but it's your money, my money, our family's money, our neighborhood money that feed NASA. So I think what we'll have to do, and Copernic Space is already doing it, is creating transparent system for us Americans having a choice and a way to contribute financially to NASA if it runs out of money, which it might. So to answer your question, I think it was 2018. Yeah, at least. And if you are in Los Angeles, join me on the 20th for a celebration of moon landing anniversary, which is coming up. Also in Hollywood.
That would be amazing. I don't see myself going to California this year, but I'm hoping maybe next year.
Where are you?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Oh my God, so you're right across the street from the Temple of Space.
Well, I wish I was across the street. I'm across the city from it. I do drive down there once a month to volunteer at the Visitor Center, the Space Center Houston.
Yes.
But it's about an hour drive from my house.
Well, I used to be senior executive of Compaq Computers, which used to be the leading company in Houston, developing, used to be largest PC company in the world. So we did, some stuff involving Houston, and I love Houston team. I love your PR people. They're always very inclusive and generous. They allow me to interview astronauts, and we have a lot of media fun. And I'm staying in touch as often as it's appropriate with Houston people who are developing actually astronaut spacesuits to go to moon, but also to go to Mars. And the entire technology and the testing is being done out of Houston.
I should know you. I worked at Compaq Computers from '97, and then HP all the way up to 2010, and then again from 2013 to 2014.
Really?
And my wife is still working at HP, and she had also started at Compaq. So
that's amazing. Well, I joined Compaq in 1993. And I stayed with Compaq until 1999. 1999, 2000, I was part of the Houston executive team, but I had a mission impossible. I was engaged to lead charge of Compaq toward Berlin, Warsaw, Moscow, after the Berlin Wall collapsed and Compaq needed more growth in Europe. And ultimately, I became a general manager of Compaq in Poland. But before that, I worked at Hewlett Packard in 1980s, and I am in touch with Paul Ely, who was a CEO and chairman of HP till he and I left HP in '85 to go to another company. So that's very interesting.
You remember Compaq Inline?
I'm sorry?
Compaq Inline, the intranet site?
Yes.
So that's what I worked on in
really?
97, 98 was the Compaq Inline. And then on the Compaq store, direct buying store, I had worked on. But that's interesting.
Great.
You never know.
Yeah, I was so upset with Mike Capellas when it was obvious that he came to destroy the company and sold it for a song to another opportunistic CEO, Carly Fiorina, destroying the legacy and the potential of such a phenomenal company. So I left. I believe right before it started to happen, because I just couldn't see this atrocity being committed on such a fabulous company.
Earlier you were talking about a thing that NASA had done, and that something that Jeff Bezos is fixing. And I know it's the Mercury 13 and Wally Funk finally getting to take her trip to space.
Yes.
So you must be very excited about seeing that finally happen.
Yes, I am. And hopefully it's not too little too late. But it is definitely too little. And stay in touch to show you how I and my team plan to make a statement that carries legacy forward beyond, magnificent, but just, one day act. So I will be stay in touch on seeing how Jeff Bezos or his underlings will respond to my proposal, how to take it further. And like you said, deeper among those who do not belong to the class of astronauts or billionaires, because this is where they are falling short. And today, Jeff Bezos' foundation made announcements of where they distributed their auction money that they auction off to another wealthy dude to fly.
Are you sure it's a dude?
I suspect, because you know what, if there is something that I can blame us women, is that we do not take enough risks with our own money. And there is not a dudess that I can recall, with an exception of Iranian woman.
I'm sorry.
That paid for her trip.
Anshu Ansari. She also, helped fund the Ansari X Prize that actually led to the development of the, was the precursor to the system that Richard Branson is flying.
Yes, yeah, and it's absolutely wonderful that she has a way of carrying on what I do to leave, to induce a chance for not only a project, but for the buildup of space economy that belongs to all of us, is a Lady Rocket Space Entrepreneurship Program, where we are a birthplace for teaching a young generation how you can become a space entrepreneur. So we have thousands of Jeff Bezoses, because and we have not just X Prize, but we have X Venture Fund, which every day, every month, dishes out funding to entrepreneurs who are dying, painful financial death, because to get funded as a space entrepreneur is as difficult as going to moon.
Yeah, it makes me mad every time I see on Twitter or Facebook or talk to somebody and they're like, Elon Musk needs to do this, or Jeff Bezos needs to do this, or Richard Branson should be doing this. And my thought is, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, that's right. So, I love the guys, but I have my own way within my own means, which are growing. And by the way, I launched the first NFT space cryptocurrency, because now, like you said, we, the people, can create our own NFTs or even our own crypto, and you can do it. You can really do it. But you know what? Program like yours. And now that we met and I see your media poise and I understand better your background, I think that part that belongs to us and people who are focusing on something like this is to take the message broader, encourage people, tell them how they can do it and help them do it. So I want to reciprocate and invite you on my pro bono TV show that I think you would appreciate, because its audience is a combination of Vandenberg Space Base, NASA, SpaceX, United Launch Alliance, and Firefly teams residing in Lompoc, Santa Maria area, which are two towns surrounding Vandenberg Space Base, and Santa Barbara. But the big part of the audience are, average people, Hispanic, Black, white, who live in those towns with very little chance to participate in space unless people like you and I tell them that there is a room for them.
I would love to participate and help out in whatever way I can.
Wonderful, wonderful, because I am relaunching it now after Corona, because I and we also agreed that I will do a Zoom recording so I can have more guests, because not too many people travel so far away. It's in California, it's a beautiful part, but a little bit out of the way. So I would love to get your participation and help in even coming up with the subject matters. And I can send you links to some of my shows, and some of my shows included actually your people in Houston, as a Lady Rocket Media, as I mentioned, accredited with NASA.
That sounds great. Yes, please send it over.
Okay, very good. So why don't we think about, we can have a part of your program recorded and then shown on the local TV. And we can think about series of programs that would leverage your mission and what I am doing. And I am also preparing what we call treatment for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle production company, which happens to be next to my place at Vandenberg Space Base. They live nearby in Santa Barbara, to do a story about how I'm working with those poor kids, or more story about them and how they get engaged in space. So, I will let you know about this project as well. I selected them because they just got a huge money from Netflix, and they do very nice animation films. They are the neighbors. So I feel that it would be good use of the resources to make a story about kids who probably do not have a chance of being astronauts unless we change that.
Absolutely. And, just coming back to Wally Funk and the Mercury 13, one of the stated objectives of going back to the moon on 2024 is to land the first woman on the moon.
Right.
And do you think that's important?
Yes, I think it's very important for acknowledgement, even indirect. Those of us who know the history and Mercury 13, it's definitely important. Two, especially under Bill Nelson, new administrator of NASA, he's striving to bring diversity to NASA, which is very much needed. Three, I think that it's symbolically a beautiful recognition of sometimes or frequently overlooked contribution that women make in many ways to progress of humanity, because it's not only about landing on the moon, it is about moving humanity forward, like what your program is also addressing. But it will end to be just a symbolic gesture if it's not authentically expanded to something that I hope to contribute to, bringing women to opportunity to get their startups funded. There's no women space entrepreneurs, very few of them. I know one incredible one in Huntsville, Alabama. She cannot get funded. So there, women do not get funded as a rule. If not that I made money, I would have no chance on doing what I do. And even with my accomplishments, I still fit into the category that only 4% of women get funded through venture funds. So if we attach to this first step on the moon broader agenda for women, I think it will be spectacular. If it stops at just taking a small step, then we failed the opportunity.
But it feels like you need to really fill the beginning of the pipeline, have people in preschool, girls playing with rockets and with chemistry sets and with engineering things, instead of playing with necessarily being directed into girly type things. And then, kind of like having role models. Gwynne Shotwell, the CEO of SpaceX, she is a very, I mean, I don't think SpaceX would be where it was without her
Right.
learning things.
She's a lonely example and a fantastic, fantastic situation. But let me tell you how I want to impact this type of a picture. Gwen is not key shareholder of the company. She's an employee, important, critically important, probably with some shares. But what I want to see is women like Gwen's with their own space rocket companies, or if they are there, commanding significant equity position alongside guys, and significant equity position starts at 5 to 10%. That's where you own space. Otherwise, you just work for space. So part of my mission is to educate women because they don't think this way. And guys do. Guys have no problem saying, where's my equity? I'm not going to do anything unless you give me 20% if you want me as an early participant. What, you want me as a CEO and you are offering me 3% of the company? Get lost. This is how men talk, women don't. And this is, we end up as important employees, but without a full opportunity to make a difference.
Now, that makes
It's
a lot
easy
of
for
sense.
me to talk like this way because I grew up in Silicon Valley, and I know how it's. I know at least how questions and negotiations should go. That women do not do this way. So by the time we land on the moon, we should be able to redefine our position here on Earth.
So coming back to that, you said we should fix the Earth before going to Mars.
Yes.
So what do you think about our plans to land people on the moon in 2024? Do you think it's too early? Do you think?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Or do you think it's going to inspire the type of changes that you're looking for? Or what are your thoughts about the plans to put people on the moon in 2024?
Okay, not only thoughts, I have action. I am directly involved in preparing with certain companies to be creator of purpose of being on the moon. And so I can answer this question very directly. And not only as an observer, but someone that is making, I hope, what is perceived as contribution. And here I need to introduce you to my startup called Copernic, named after Copernicus, COPRNIC space, Copernic space. You can look it up, because our mission is to monetize digital assets of space, democratize it, and enable early space pioneers to get funded and innovate business models and revenue models. So when we land on the moon, it is not another expedition, it is economic footprint for Earth. So to give you very specifically, myself and Grant Blaisdell, who is a CEO of Copernic Space, and yes, he's my son, and yes, he's a fourth generation of space mavericks. And when he was growing up, he was playing under my compact desk for like 5 years. We are working very closely with a company who will be announcing next week, who has a technology to provide operational rovers for moon for the purpose of performing business-like tasks. And their position of Copernic Space will allow us to issue first truly moon cryptocurrency, not Doge, which is a speculation, but truly cryptocurrency that you will be able to buy in order to co-own percentage of the moon rover. So, and moon rover is trying to get a business to do mining on moon, okay? So we are taking it beyond just landing on the moon. There are some other also companies that we are working with that are bringing very thought through, economically sound opportunities. I am pursuing my own moon identity, and I cannot tell you all about it, but one of the projects is meant to take advantage of my business relationship and knowledge and secure mining rights on Moon and open the door for women, not to wait, but to go and do it now and to challenge the decision-making process, which now gives those rights to billionaires. I want to get those rights based on the principles of accomplishments, the value of my plan, democratization of my plan, and ability to fundraise billions. So you see, so your focus is really an opportunity to engage in the discussion that touches on moon landing as a phenomenal event that should engage us in the discussion now.
Would it surprise you at all to tell you that most of the people I talk to who are not space people, I don't know we're planning to send people to the moon in 2024?
Hold on just a moment. Sorry, I got a call coming through. No, it doesn't surprise me, and I feel that we have a kinship here because Lady Rocket Foundation is totally focused outside of the space industry. It means that might be totally is overkill, but my focus is to take the message to those who are outside of the space passion or space industry. And because this is where the biggest opportunity is.
That's fantastic. There definitely needs to be a lot more outreach, especially considering how we get information these days. You know, back whenever we had the first moon landing in 1969, we had 3 major network channels. Everybody saw the same thing on TV. We had just static newspapers that people read. And if you made it into those things, people knew about it. But today, people get information that's personalized to them.
Yes.
So a lot of people are trapped inside their own little information bubble.
Yes. And you know what? Speaking of media on the moon, there was another medium on the moon that we forgot about, Kodak camera, Kodak Polaroid. And one of the programs that I want to do, and I think I should invite you to be a part of it, is we'll have a sponsorship of some of those companies. Kodak, then do you know whose watch was on the moon? Phenomenal sponsor.
I do know that it wasn't like Oyster, it was like
Omega watch.
Omega, yes, I got the O right. At least I got one letter. Omega.
So here is take on the program that we could compose, especially here for Santa Barbara, and connected to yours, revisiting moon and who was on the moon in addition to astronauts. And Motorola, I believe, had its part. So anyway, it's an interesting.
So if it was safe and affordable, would you go to space?
Yes, I would.
How far would you go? Just like a suborbital trip or orbital trip to a moon, or immigrate to Mars?
Well, I am putting myself on the list all the way to Mars. So we'll see. I already have a beautiful NASA JPL approved educational inspiration program for Mars astronauts as Lady Rocket Foundation that we take to schools here in the States, but also internationally. And my granddaughter, who was born almost exactly a year ago, she's already signed up as a Mars astronaut through my little program. So I think it would be, wonderful, especially if you could go with someone that you love, because I think sharing love in space is magnificent thing. But I would settle for, I think Richard Branson is an easy shot. It's a cheap travel. It's almost as a little bit more expensive than Concorde used to be. But I would love to have my own racket. So this is where I would go for sure. Because why not? What rackets will be affordable, especially if you get Copernic Space cryptocurrency. By the way, speaking of that, but this is material for the next show, my discussion with Elon Musk and Greg Blaisdell about how to make rackets affordable.
That's going to be key. Being able to use the same rocket multiple times seems to be a key part of that too.
Yes.
But
wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, and I definitely look forward to talking again.
Yes, let's do it, and I will connect with you. I will send you the link to our programs, which were very static because they were in the studio, but I will also send you materials that we have prepared, filmed, sometimes imperfectly because of the sound and noise during the rocket launch. And you know what? Yeah. So let's see if we could follow up with me interviewing you or us talking for my distribution in California.
That would be fantastic. And well, is there anything else that you wanted to add before we kind of close it up?
Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for including me in your wonderful program. And I would love to return for the reason of vanity, because I was just swimming and I don't have my Lady Racket outfit on, neither my Lady Racket glasses. So my appearance is way too normal, what I like to see. Invite me back for 10 minutes and we can talk about fashion on Moon and music on Moon. But otherwise, what I would like to say is to us, Americans, that it is up to us to be stewards of landing on the moon, take active participation and interest in seeing what Congress is telling NASA to do. And with all due respect, most of those guys do not have a level of traditional competence or connectivity to us, the people in the area of space, that truly gives them an idea what it is we want to see. And your program, I think, delivers an opportunity to do that. And I am also looking at using my resources to facilitate our American way to input. Second thing, history of moon landing. And it connects me to why we created Copernic Space. When you talk to NASA marketing people, who I believe did absolutely amazing job promoting moon landing. And those are the people who were there in 1960s, 1969. And when you ask them, what was the most challenging task that they had, the answer will surprise you. And the answer gives us a new opportunity. They said the biggest challenge was thousands, if not millions, of little envelopes that people were sending to NASA with $5, $10, $50, $100 donations to make sure that NASA doesn't run out of money. So this was my emotional reasons to create Copernic Space, which using blockchain technology, which means transparent. You cannot, finagle anything with the money in order to provide a way to provide this type of opportunity for us Americans to step in and help NASA because budget is not enough. And then look at space everywhere. It is medicine, it is biomedicine, it's fashion, it's style, it's color of hair, it's communication, So space is everywhere, and make sure that space is treated well by us humans. So I am Lady Rocket, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much, Lady Rocket. And I look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you, and big pleasure to meet you and discover our compact experience.
Exactly, and all the common views on space as well.
Yes, that's true. Thank you for inviting me, and we'll be in touch. And all the best to your other participants.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Bye.